Central Texas was rocked by a disaster no one saw coming. Overnight, the Guadalupe River surged dramatically, rising 26 feet in less than an hour, turning peaceful communities into scenes of destruction. Homes, cars, even entire camps were swept away by a wall of water that moved faster and fiercer than anyone expected. At the heart of this tragedy is Kerr County, where the death toll climbed to at least 51 people, including 15 children. Among the missing are 27 young girls from a Christian summer camp called Camp Mystic. As rescuers race against time, families are left desperate for answers, and a community struggles to grasp the scale of what just happened. This wasn't just a flood. It was a catastrophic flash flood unlike anything the region had seen in decades, a force that tore through the Texas hill country in the dead of night, leaving devastation in its wake. But how did it happen so fast? And why were so many caught off guard? What happened next would change lives forever. Camp Mystic was supposed to be a safe place, a summer retreat where dozens of girls could enjoy nature and make memories. Instead, it became ground zero for one of the deadliest parts of this flood. In the middle of the night, a massive wall of water slammed through the camp. The raging river rose so quickly that 27 girls vanished without a trace. Families posted desperate pleas online, sharing photos and hoping for any sign of their missing daughters. Survivors tell harrowing stories, like a group of girls tied together by a rope, wading through swirling floodwaters to escape. Others clung to trees, holding on for hours until rescuers arrived by helicopter and boat. Despite heroic efforts by first responders using drones, boats, and helicopters, the search remains grim. The landscape is littered with debris, overturned cars, and shattered cabins, making the mission as dangerous as it is urgent. The silence from the missing weighs heavily on everyone, a haunting reminder of how quickly a night of fun turned into a nightmare. What made this disaster even more shocking was how fast it happened, catching many residents and campers off guard. Weather agencies like AccuWeather and the National Weather Service did issue flash flood warnings hours before the storm hit, but the sheer intensity overwhelmed everyone. The Texas Hill Country is known as one of the most flash flood-prone areas in the U.S., thanks to its steep terrain and numerous water crossings. When heavy rain falls, the water rushes down quickly, leaving little time to react. Some camps, like Mo Ranch and others nearby, monitored the weather closely and moved campers to higher ground. But for many, including those at Camp Mystic, the speed and force of the flood were unlike anything anyone expected. This raises tough questions. Were warnings strong enough? Did everyone get the message in time? And could more have been done to prepare for a disaster that felt almost unstoppable? The flood's fury wasn't limited to Kerr County alone. Across 5 counties, Kerr, Travis, Burnett, Kendall, and Tom Green, the waters claimed at least 51 lives. In Kerr County alone, 43 people died, including 15 children. The devastation spread quickly, sweeping away roads, bridges, and entire neighborhoods. Rescue teams have pulled more than 850 people from danger in the last 36 hours, using every tool available: helicopters, boats, even drones scanning the flooded landscape from above. But the destruction runs deep. Witnesses described a terrifying flood wave rushing down the Guadalupe River, a sudden surge of water moving like a breaking ocean wave, carrying debris and destruction with it. This isn't just a typical rise in water levels, it's a violent surge that can flatten everything in its path. The damage to infrastructure, homes, and lives is staggering. Communities once thriving now face a long, uncertain road to recovery. Behind every number is a story of survival, heartbreak, and courage. Families clung to trees, attics, and whatever they could find as floodwaters rose with terrifying speed. One mother described holding on to a tree with her teenage son, watching helplessly as her boyfriend and dog were swept away only to be reunited later against all odds. Others found refuge in attics, like a 94-year-old grandmother and her 9-year-old great-grandson, forced together by the rising waters in a desperate fight to stay safe. The emotional toll ripples through communities too. Schools like Alamo Heights in San Antonio have been deeply affected. Many students were campers or knew those missing. Counseling and support services are being offered, but the trauma will linger. Amidst the chaos, stories of heroism emerge. Neighbors rescuing neighbors, first responders risking their lives. Yet the weight of loss is heavy. The grief is palpable, as entire families and entire communities grapple with the unimaginable. Even as floodwaters recede, the search for survivors and answers continues. Helicopters and drones comb the devastated areas, but some locations remain treacherous and hard to reach. Governor Greg Abbott has promised that authorities will work around the clock, declaring a statewide day of prayer for those lost and missing. Communities have rallied, opening reunification centers and offering counseling to those struggling with trauma. Yet amid the efforts, tough questions hang in the air. Did officials do enough to warn residents and campers? Was there enough preparation for a flood of this scale? County leaders admit that a flood warning system like a tornado siren was considered years ago but never implemented, partly due to cost. Now, with the damage and loss so severe, many are calling for changes to better protect vulnerable areas in the future. As rescue turns to recovery, the hard work of rebuilding both homes and trust is just beginning. The Texas floods were more than a natural disaster. They were a harsh reminder of nature's unpredictability and the fragility of human life. Entire communities were forever changed in a single night, with heartbreak echoing through families and neighborhoods. As rescuers continue their efforts and survivors begin to rebuild, questions about preparedness and warning systems demand urgent answers. This tragedy underscores how vital it is to respect nature's power and to invest in better protections for those living in vulnerable areas. For now, the focus remains on remembering those lost, supporting those still searching, and facing the long road ahead with resilience. Texas will rebuild, but the scars of this night will be felt for years to come. Well, that's all for this video. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Now Famous feed for more content like this. And check out our TikTok page for even more videos. Your support is appreciated as always. Thank you, and see you in the next one.